left Bay de Prony early one morning to get down to Kudo Bay on the Isle of Pines to celebrate Kim's birthday. You can see her walking up the mountain there. So Kim, Pete and I decided, yeah, why not? We can go up the top of this hill. So we left we'd actually left too late one afternoon, but we did make it to the top, as you can see, and got a few photos. It's quite a dull day, but still amazing. Wow, this is my record GT. 1.2 metres, I reckon it was about 35 kilos. It towed the boat around for about a good half an hour. Anyway, this is a little moray eel that we found in a rock pool. It was quite a feisty little fella.
Mark from Three Little Birds organised for Penivus from the rally to do a one-day bus tour around various parts of Isle of Pines. Our first stop was in Vaux, which is the capital, and these carvings represent the chiefs of all the villages on Isle of Pines, and they're protecting the main chief, represented by a statue of Jesus. And this shows how they have integrated Christianity with their local religions. It was very interesting to hear them talking about it.
Our second stop was to look at the traditional pirogues. You can see Mark from Three Little Birds here trying to work out how he can get his boat to go as quick as these can. Haha.
Our third stop was to see the cave of Queen Hortense. She was a Kanak queen who was hidden here by her tribe for protection while there was fighting going on, and seems like she was there for some months. Our last stop was the Piscine Naturelle, which is the natural swimming pool. It's the estuary of a river that runs into the ocean, and absolutely spectacular. Surrounded by colonial pines, beautiful aqua clear water, fabulous snorkeling, little clownfish that come right up to your goggles to ask you to leave. And after that, we went to the Meridian nearby, and Russ got a small beer for 27 Australian dollars. After Isle of Pines, we came back to Bay de Prony, which is famous for having very, very dark red soil that gets on everything. And there are two walks for waterfalls there, so we really wanted to do both of them. This is the first one, and we did have a bit of trouble finding it, and that's the track to the first one. The second one was a more impressive waterfall, and we eventually found it too, and as usual, I really feel impelled to get into the water and fully experience it, even though it's freezing cold.
leaving the Bay de Prony, we sailed for, I don't know, around about 20 hours to get to Lifou, which was a spectacular island. Brave and Three Little Birds and Sunrise all made our way there. You can see how magnificent it is. There was a beautiful little stretch of beach there. The coral sand was quite coarse, but look at all these little inlets and the snorkeling here. There was caves and holes and overhangs, and the water was crystal clear. It was just so lovely. We took our little tender to anchor up whilst we were snorkeling, and I decided to play a little game with Margie. And you can see that little cave up ahead, or not a cave, an overhang or an arch. And you notice when Margie finally realises that I think Russ is going to go under there, she starts to get a little bit worried. We heard there was going to be a local wedding, and there they are. They've come down to the water's edge to get their photos. Later that afternoon, Brave and Three Little Birds and us came ashore to smoke up some yellowfin tuna we'd caught and have a couple of drinks and tell a few yarns and watch the sunset. Finished another beautiful.
Our next stop was Gherkin Bay in the far north of Lifou. Spectacular setting. The village is right at the top of these very high cliffs. Bit tricky to anchor and bit tricky getting up the very steep boat ramp, but all worth the effort. This lovely young girl is studying law at Ymir and home on her holidays. We were very pleased that we were able to do La Coutume with the wife of the chief, and she told us about the village and explained how they make the case and how they repair the roof every 7 years. She told me that she had some cuts on her feet from the coral in Vanuatu when she went just recently, and asked me if I had some dressings, which of course I was more than happy to give her. These young kids jump off that platform about 20 metres straight into the water. That's their afternoon pastime. One of the industries on Lifou is growing vanilla. So a number of us were pretty keen to get to see this and to see one of the vanilleries. So after hours of walking in the hot midday sun, we eventually arrived at a local vanillery. And the lady you can see here to my right is the owner, and she gave us a tour around her beautiful tropical garden and talked to us about how the vanilla is grown. And unfortunately we weren't able to buy any vanilla essence, but she gave us some coffee that had been flavoured with vanilla, and that was actually surprisingly very nice.
You can see here the height of the cliffs and the absolute verticalness of them. I don't know if that's a word. Anyway, imagine being shipwrecked here. The water drops straight down into 20 metres of water and vertical cliffs that are very, very sharp.